On Commissioner Mauldin to give the invocation.
Pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today and ask for your guidance as we do the business for the citizens of Wichita County. Lord, you've been so good to us and blessed us in so many ways, just the ability to wake up each and every day in this wonderful country. We just ask that you would help us, lead us, and guide us. Lord, thank you for the men and women who don the uniform to protect our freedoms, whether they be serving overseas or locally. We thank you for our first responders, those that run into danger when most of us are wanting to go the other way. Lord, we just ask that you would offer calm and reason and responsibility to the leaders in this country. And we'd ask that you would go with us and do the same. We ask these things in the name of your precious Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Let's join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas pledge, please. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you. We got a special deal to do this morning with our 4-H'ers here. And Katrina, would you like to bring up those, or I can stand there with you all and whatever y'all want to do.
Devin, what's in the box? Whatever.
We're curious.
Oh,
We are curious individuals.
y'all are going to love what's in the box.
Are we? Good.
Yeah. All righty. Whereas Wichita County is proud to honor the 4-H Youth Development Program of the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service for 112 years of providing experience-based education to youngsters throughout the Lone Star State. And whereas this admirable program, which seeks to provide a learning experience for the whole child, including head, heart, hands, and health, helps young Texans to acquire knowledge, develop life skills, and form attitudes to enable them to become self-directed, productive, and contributing members of our society. And where it is more than 550,000 urban, suburban, and rural youth participants ranging in age from 8 to 19 hail from diverse ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds and truly represent a cross-section of the state. And whereas the program undoubtedly could not have achieved the success that it has today, were it not for that service of more than 22,000 volunteers who have given generously of their time, talents, energies, and resources to the youth of Texas. Whereas, throughout its proud history, the 4-H program has developed positive role models for countless Texans, and through its innovative and inspiring programs continue to build character and to instill the values that have made our state strong and great. Now therefore it be resolved, the Wichita County Commissioners Court hereby designates October 6th through 12th, 2019 as National 4-H Week in Texas, and commend the 4-H Youth Development Program of Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service and the many men and women who have made the program a success. Trina, may I present that to you? And I just want to say, I hadn't been to your all's 4-H banquet. Watch each of you all make talks and things, and the polished level of what you all did, despite some heckling and teasing from some of your friends as you did it. And you all stayed in and just did that, just tremendous, because I see, unfortunately, I see your counterparts in juvenile court, and some of them can speak loud, but not well, as they protest getting to stay with us 2 more weeks. But at any rate, thank you all for what you all do and the example you set. And of course, we obviously want to hear from you. We appreciate we have 2 national pictures, or state competition level of that. In fact, I followed up with Katrina because I was talking to a man about Fantasy of Lights, and he builds the new displays with really neat electronics. So I'm thinking, wait a minute, those are robotics kids, and you all, the kind of things that you could do later on to help us preserve that great Christmas display. So anyway, Katrina, what do you want to let them, or are you going to talk?
I'll talk. And I appreciate you and the commissioners for supporting Wichita County 4-H all these years and making some of our youth that are involved in 4-H, better in supporting all of their endeavors. And we did bring out a little gift, some 4-H
Oh,
cookies.
thank you very much.
So for y'all to enjoy.
Right over here, Judge.
Yeah, you all will, y'all will take Jeff his, right? You'll put him with his medicine?
It's for the road trip to your conference.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have a lot of activities going on. Our 4-H year just kicked off. We already have 120 4-Hers involved in the program so far this year.
Right,
So, and of course, behind all of these are their great parents. So,
yes. No, if we didn't have parents and grandparents and others helping this come along, it wouldn't be the organization it is, and that is tremendous. So, y'all want to say anything? You got to be kidding me. I've never seen y'all this. All right.
so
Thanks
thank y'all
again.
very much.
All right, thanks for the cookies. I got a small story to tell you. As a freshman at Texas,
Star Kids.
Devin is our Gold Star winner for this 2019
Would you
year.
explain
Yes.
what that is?
The Gold Star Award is the highest award that can be offered at the county 4-H level. And so that is an honor for all of Devin's hard work, her leadership abilities, and all of her community service and all the projects that she's completed over the years. So I think Jeff was a Gold Star winner, I think. I've been a Gold Star winner. So that's, you know, a long legacy that carries on through Devin. So
I'm very proud of her. She does an
Fantastic.
outstanding job.
yep.
For a girl.
Interestingly enough, and a lot of people don't realize this, 4-H was supposedly originated in Jacksboro,
Yeah.
Texas. There's a sign outside of
Yeah,
Jacksboro.
they
that says
claim it.
home of
there
4-H.
is a little 4-H museum there. So that's
Yeah,
where it
and they-
originated in Texas. So
112 years.
yes.
I feel like I was in the first group sometimes.
You know, I'm 58 years old, and today's the first time that I heard what 4-H stood for.
With good heads.
What?
That's crazy. Head,
You went
hands,
to-
heart, and health.
Yeah.
And everybody just calls it 4-H, and I'm just,
Well, they, on the proclamation, it threw me for a second. I read through it earlier, and then when I was reading it a while ago, we did the 4-H, and then all of a sudden they throw in another H right after. I'm going, wait a minute, don't do that to me. But at any rate, we got through it. But the cookies would be great. I'm going to recall my freshman year going to A&M. There were 5 of us used to ride together here. Well, my girlfriend's grandmother was a great baker. She made us 144, 12 dozen of these little cinnamon rolls. Well, I got in the car, sat down thinking, they didn't make it all the way to College Station. All 12 dozen were gone before we got there. So,
144?
yeah, 12, for children and Graham, 12 times 12.
I know,
140.
I'm just saying, 144 cinnamon rolls were consumed.
But they're only about that big.
That's just gross. That's just gross.
But it was a whole cookie sheet of them. I was, yeah.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
I tell you, Judge, 4-H is so diverse these days. There's so many different projects and programs. It's just, there is something that will appeal to just about anybody that they want to get involved in. It's really a great program and a natural leadership training. I think that's the big deal.
We are down to the part of the agenda for any public comment. Anyone in the audience? Thank you all.
Thanks.
Yes, ma'am, you may.
Commissioner Beecham asked me to update the report on the fire panel downtown. Right now, the purge system will not alarm on the panel and booking. It's something within the motherboard that the relay is messed up, and so we have found a part that we've ordered on Friday. It should be here Tuesday. We'll get CNI on site at the latest on Wednesday to try to install that and see if it works. If it doesn't, then I believe that the only other option is to replace that panel. I've sent that quote to Mark. I don't know if that's been sent to everybody else yet or not.
20 grand.
Yeah, it's like 20,400, I think is what the quote was listed for. I have notified the jail commission. Right now we're training all of our staff how to manually override that purge in case there is a fire. But, you know, they're gonna want updates, so I'll give them another update as soon as we get that part and then see if it's gonna function or not.
It's kind of a long shot on that part, so I understand.
Yes, yeah, it was by luck of finding it.
On
and-
eBay.
On eBay, so we hope it's gonna work. If not, we'll have to figure something else out, so. But that's where we're at as of today.
That is so much better a price. Well, that's still a lot of money.
It is, it is,
Yeah,
so.
and, you know, we had talked about replacing it, and unfortunately, that can kept going down the road, and I kept saying, someday, we're gonna pay.
I did talk with Mike, he's one of the co-owners of CNI, he did state that depending on what, once we move into the new facility, what y'all decide to do with that portion of the jail, they can intertwine that with a new system, with that new panel and booking, they can intertwine that with the current system that's in the courthouse, and it can all be on one system. So
Okay.
I don't know what the plans are with that.
Wait a minute, intertwine it with, because
Like
we
the
weren't
current
gonna,
system that's in the courthouse now and the system that's in the jail, they're two different systems.
yes,
If we do purchase a new panel, those will talk together, and so it will all alarm at the same places,
okay,
is what he was telling me,
all right.
so.
That sounds good, because we weren't gonna decommission this downtown jail. Now, I think we're gonna lose 101 of the older stuff that we have the variances on.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, the old side has some variances that
yeah,
we won't be able to populate it again, but the new side is still functional.
okay, all right, very good. You feeling any better?
Not really.
I didn't think so.
No,
All right, you take-
no, they're gonna, I'm being monitored for 2 weeks, so we'll see what they say.
Well, we've been watching you a long time, so,
Can you get that wet?
Huh?
Can you get it wet?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it just,
My daughter wore one for a week. She couldn't get it wet.
yeah, this is a different one than the one that I wore before. This one is, it's just it's actually like a little cell phone thing that it talks to my little phone and records everything. It's actually a lot cooler than the other one that I had to wear, so.
okay, okay,
But we'll see, it'll be
all
okay.
right, very good. Thank you.
And you
All
got
right,
the
thank you
bees
for-
taken care of, too.
Yes, and we did get the bees taken care of.
You're welcome.
Thank you. We had a massive,
Yeah,
I don't know what kind of bee nest, it was about the size of a basketball outside the A-door.
There were honeybees.
Were they honeybees?
And I
Yeah.
called Mr. Larry Roderick, and he come over and looked at them.
Yeah.
It was during the day, and they were still swarming.
Yeah,
He said, let's wait,
Didn't come in.
let them all come in, because if I take them now,
they'll come right back.
there'll be a bunch more that's not there. So
Yeah.
he waited, and also I think he did it after dark, they all come.
He did, my lieutenant that was on duty actually was like, so some guy just rolled up in a truck and a ladder and scooped our bees up. So I was like, okay.
hey, I'm glad they were observant and saw that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
so that's a new one for Wichita County, it's beehive out the A-door,
Well,
so.
that was a honey of a deal.
We should have kept it.
No, no.
Could have had some free honey.
I will keep y'all updated on the fire system when I have updates.
Thank you.
I'll let you know.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to ask the court to take action on the consent agenda. I did want to make one typo correction in item 7, where it says Task Force, Texas Workforce Commission date exchange, that should be data exchange. And then Commissioner Beecham, on item number 11, before we pull it down, maybe just, were these the things, is this the waste they said they thought was,
The dirt hall, yeah, that was the one where they said they did not include it in each individual trade as part of the contract, so they're calling it out as a separate item now.
that is,
Because they didn't, that's,
because they
they
assumed.
they made an assumption and did not specify that as part, the hauling of debris off as part of the contract with each individual trade.
Well, because they said that was a custom other places, I think they've
Yeah.
been. It isn't the custom here,
the
according to
custom
their
here.
partner. I think we'll go ahead and pay them, but we need to talk about that
Okay.
at a little more length than,
Yeah, and the 60,858 for the steel embeds, that was in order, they were able to get them from a local supplier rather than waiting months, putting the project in delay, so.
okay. And those are for what?
They're the weld panels for.
That's what, okay, that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering if they were, okay.
Is this gonna be funded out of LEC?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
all, it's just change orders to the,
Yeah, 'cause you don't have anywhere else to fund
Yeah.
it from, I don't think.
Just
it
wanted to-
comes-
I wanted to make sure.
It comes out of the contingency budget. It's just a housekeeping method of me signing the IOCC to go ahead and approve that pull down from the contingency. Since it's over 30,000, I have to bring it to court.
Okay.
Motion to approve the consent agenda with those notations and changes.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Waller, second by Commissioner Harvey to approve the consent agenda with that one typographical change to item 7. Any other comments, anyone? Okay. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, we're down to general business. First item is to review and approve the regular bills for payment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any comments on the bills by anyone? Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Harvey, a second by Commissioner Beecham. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item 2 is discuss, consider, take action to approve one of 2 quotes for repair and replacement of stair tread on the 3rd and 4th floor courthouse steps to be paid from permanent improvement fund or appropriate budget lines as determined by the county auditor. Commissioner Beecham.
Yes, Judge, as you can tell by the photos, the stairwell going between the 3rd and the 4th floor is in dire need of repair. I do have quotes to do that stairwell as well as the secondary steps going up on the 4th floor to the 2 sub-levels. I want to take those 2 sub-level steps off and just do the main stairwell for right now. They're not in the same shape that the main staircase is, so it would be my motion to accept the quote from Briggles at $5,500 for the main staircase on the 3rd floor.
One question, if you take that's going to save a couple of $1,000s, but if we have them come back later and do those, or you?
They're not in the same
They're not in the
condition.
same.
They're not in the same condition.
Okay, well, you're the ones to look closely at them then, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to do them all at the same time, but given where we're at in funding right now,
Okay,
we can pull that off.
all right. Is there a second to your motion?
Second.
Any other comments?
How long has this been in the works, this project?
This one,
Yeah.
for a couple months, I've been looking at it.
I just know the permanent improvement fund, every time everybody wants to talk about it, all we hear is a bunch of violins and how depleted it is. And I just keep seeing projects coming out of it. And I've got a staircase over there, when you come to my main entrance off Scott, it looks extremely ugly. If you talk about worn out, I sent y'all some photographs this morning. Somebody got them, somebody didn't. But I'm just wondering in the lay of the land, you know, where we at with other projects going on versus where we're at with permanent improvement fund, supposedly being in bad shape that's in. How much money's left in the permanent improvement fund? Is that something I can get an answer for, or do I have to file another records request? I don't mind doing that either.
It's in the budget.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
every time we talk about the permanent
Correct.
improvement fund, it's how bad shape it's in.
Well, it's been used for what it was designated to be used for. We added that penny to the tax rate and a little over that to put money back into it so that we can have some money to do projects without going and borrowing money. But with the projects we did, the big deal on the HVAC system, that took better than $2 million. That was a big dent in that. The other funds that we had that we were working on, those have all come down because of the law enforcement radio project and a few other projects. That has brought that all down. When you say it's in bad shape, that it's low, but it's done what it was designated for. But that balance does change, and that permanent improvement fund, while I'd rather we didn't do this, it looks bad, but it's also it's got safety issues to it. And
I just want you to know I got things that look bad over at my place too.
okay, look bad's not a criteria. Safety is a criteria.
Go over and look at the staircase, it goes up to the 2nd floor of the Scott Street entrance, and look at how worn out it is.
Okay, which second floor?
Come
Which-
off Scott. You got-
off Scott.
You got two doors, you come off
Okay.
Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll,
okay.
I'll run over there and look at it.
That's
Yeah,
not,
I sent you some pictures this morning. I mean, it is smooth, worn out.
Is that the big staircase after you go by the glass cage? Goes up?
Believe me, you come in the front door, you can either come in my door, or
Yeah.
you take, grab this door that faces north and south, and put you in a staircase that takes you up.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
I'll run over and look at it as soon as the court's out.
just had it, maybe need to look down more. I mean, I'll agree it's ugly, because whoever cleaned it with something or other really disfigured it, discolored it, and, but I didn't really notice any broken treads.
Well, Judge, I'm just telling you, it looks horrible from an aesthetic standpoint, you know. That's coming from a guy that's got carpet laid over in his tax office that's held together with duct tape that the general public sees every day.
I seen it too. That carpet's over 40 years old.
It was laid 3 to 4 years before my former chief deputy went to work here. My former chief deputy. The
Yeah.
carpet's gone.
Yep. Well, where we at? Did you get a motion and a second?
Yeah.
Yes, need a vote.
500.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 4-0. Item 3 is discuss, consider, take action to approve budget for installation of Wichita Master Gardeners Association's planning scheme for the courthouse. Commissioner Beecham?
Yeah, I looked at this over the weekend again. They did not give me quotes on what it would cost, but I Googled all the different plants. They tell me they're supplying a large number of the plants from their personal gardens, but they couldn't give me the exact number. So my best estimate, based on what they were able to supply me, was if we had to purchase every single thing on there at total retail cost, it would be $2,500.
That's it?
Yeah, to do 3 flower beds. That's the best estimate I could come up with.
Okay, I am not the one to picture this. This is, whereabouts are they going to go, in the very front, or?
The 3 empty spaces in the front where we built the new sidewalk. we've
Right,
got the 3
so where the opons were?
Yeah, yeah. And these are permanent plantings except for right at the front where we do seasonal color. So,
Okay, so no action this time.
unless we want to approve that budget for $2,500, I believe that'd be enough to get it taken care of. And right now is the time they tell me we need to be planning all this.
Well, you know, that's going to come out of the permanent improvement fund, which is what we've just talked about. And,
Take it out of 560. Will's got all kinds of money.
560 is fine, 561 leave alone.
I think everybody's getting in that shape here the last couple of months.
yes, sir.
I just was gonna add that there is, speaking of budget for permanent improvement, only about $125,000 remaining for this year in budget, so we can't spend more than that account. That's some business.
Well, but that's, part of that's encumbered though, isn't it?
As far as I know, that's what we have free right now.
125?
About.
Okay.
That's budget, so.
You said 125.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought you said 525.
Oh, no, no.
Okay, I was wondering where that came from. I was going to have to ask you about that. I liked it, but I didn't think it was right. So 125 is, yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve the budget of 2,500.
Second?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Aye. 3-1.
I think it starts with pennies, gang.
Okay.
Do you agree? Did you vote against it, or?
No, it's with Eunice.
I thought
You
you
did vote
voted.
against it.
No, I did not.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, I wanted to clarify that.
Okay. I don't want to leave you, I don't want to leave you hanging, Judge.
Okay, thank you. No hanging chads. Okay, Commissioner Beecham, update on law enforcement center and Amoresco projects.
The law enforcement center project's continuing on down the road. If you hadn't driven out there in the last few weeks, drive by there now, because you can actually see the whole footprint. The box of the jail itself is completed, so you can see the magnitude of the building. Be pouring the remainder of the slab for the LEC side of the building this week. Start standing the walls on it on short order. We do go to jail commission next week to ask for some additional variances.
What?
How we're treating the G2 pod, which has been shelled out, and also on height of CMU walls. It's drawn up to take the CMU walls all the way to the deck. We're asking for some variances on non-security walls to stop the CMU at some level, different levels depending upon what the walls are, and finish them out with drywall, which makes it easier to take to the deck, easier, cheaper, faster.
But you're still going all the way.
All the way, it'll go all the way to the
Just
deck.
different
It's
building
just-
material.
Just different building materials. In the when they're not affecting the security envelope of the building, it makes sense to drop the CMU walls to a level just above the ceiling tiles and carry it out with drywall. We're just asking for that variance.
Which is just common sense stuff.
It will not affect security. It's in offices, like within the bookend, restrooms, things of that nature.
Warehouse.
Yeah, warehouse. It's not it will not affect the security envelope of the building at all. So, but we still have to go through all the steps. And Will and I and Harper Perkins sat down and went through an exercise going through every one of the walls in the building and seeing which ones we could stop at a different height and make the construction process a little easier. As far as Amoresco, believe that the boiler itself will be here this week. We'll install it this weekend. That does not include the burners. The burners are coming from Canada. They're due in the following week, I believe, so we should have everything in place in the next 2.5 weeks on the boiler. That's the last major thing to accomplish. And once that's all accomplished, they'll finish fine tuning the building and we'll be done.
Doesn't sound bad.
Yeah, it's a lot better hearing that the boiler is going to arrive this week than what we were thinking 2 weeks ago. So,
Have we seen a reduction in our water bill yet?
Not the one we approved.
Not water bill, I'm sorry,
Electric bill.
electric bill. I was thinking about that water bill that
Yeah,
we,
I don't think we've had enough time to, I think it'll take a couple of months to get settled in, get adjusted.
yeah, we haven't had all the components on it yet, other than the big chillers, but all of the VFDs and everything haven't been operational properly or anything to this point.
But he sure is working better. So.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely working better.
Will, you had a $9,000 water bill at the annex.
Maybe the inmate welfare fund ought to pay for part of that.
We just dig them a water well.
Well, we hit enough water out there to probably have done that. Okay. Thanks, sir. We're down to anyone in the audience, any comments? Mr. Beecham?
Oh, our friends that we had up here a few weeks ago from MSU Cycling, they had the conference mountain bike championships over the weekend, and Pablo Cruz won the conference championship on mountain bike this weekend, so they continue to do great things over there at MSU, so. That's all I have.
All right, sir. Commissioner Harvey?
Well, we had a Texas Law Enforcement Records Association. Texas Law Enforcement Records, yep, TLERA, came to Burke Burnett and had a conference, continuing education conference deal. And I was asked to cook for that, and I did not realize it was gonna be 99% ladies. And there was a lot of ladies that just said, I might eat fish. So I just scrambled and get them some chicken strips. But we brought about 150 people from all over. I think the furthest one was from McAllen. And it was really good. That was Thursday and Friday. And then we had our Friendship Festival in Burke Burnett this past weekend, and you couldn't find a place to park. It was well attended, I'll put it to you that way. Friendship Festival is also, I think we're having Merle Haggard's brother, Marty Haggard, is that his brother?
Could be. It's not his sister, I don't think.
He's coming November 8th, I think, to Burke. Tomorrow, the Redneck Culinary Academy is going to be providing a meal for Wichita Falls Police Officers Association. It's their annual banquet. We serve at 6:30, about 200 people, 150 people. And then Patsy's house. Patsy's house is October 15th, that's on a Tuesday, about 80, what do you call it, forensic investigators?
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
forensic investigators.
And they come together,
Agencies from all over.
Yeah.
they come from all over, and they come and train there at Patsy's house to learn how to interview small children and stuff that's been abused in some shape, form, or fashion. So we always like to support Patsy's house, and we'll be doing that at noon on the 15th, which is a Tuesday.
Lee, I believe that was one of the first cooks we did.
I think it is.
When we first got started. I believe it was the first one, as a matter of fact.
Other than the,
Other than the
Hog
hog
hunt.
Yeah,
It was.
we came back and did that.
Mhm.
So, it's good.
Okay, Commissioner Marler.
Well, the good news is the bridge is in on Roller Road, and the Billbert's going back in this week, starting maybe today or tomorrow, as soon as they get some of their little loose ends tied up. And we're gonna get that packed back in and finish that project up, and this is the second joint project, Precinct 3, Precinct 2 have done this year, and we're very proud of both of them, because what we're trying to do is step up the game and do projects to the level that they're gonna be there 50 years from now. And I think both of these are gonna qualify for that, Lee, and we're very proud, and that's gonna be a big, big help out in that neighborhood, which is a growing neighborhood, by the way, and give those people access when the rains come. So,
Yep.
great, good event, and just, I'm gonna say, what, a week? We should have that thing back in pretty good shape. We're gonna do a bunch of field work.
I think it's more than a week.
It may-
That's a
Yeah.
lot of dirt.
That's, yeah, I was gonna say, you won't,
We're gonna raise that whole roadway where it'll be out of danger, so.
Yeah.
We'll be working on that, so still some work there, but it'll be soon.
but you also improve the waterway through
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was worried people might hear this and think, oh my God, all they're doing is creating a
Oh,
dam. No.
We have all of it approved and engineered. TxDOT did the original engineering on it.
Yeah.
And helped us make sure that we got everything fitted. But another good project that I think is going to bring good value to Wichita County, and I think that's important. So,
What happens there at that bridge, the water actually backs up from Gilbert Creek, starting east of I-44, over around Ashton Road. And what it does, it just backs up. And when it does, it just comes over the old bridge, and then it just keeps backing up. And I got pictures on my phone. When the water is backed up, you can't see the bridge. I mean, all one intersection to the next, other than about 50 foot at each intersection, it's all water,
Several hundred feet.
several hundred feet. So we have to raise, we raise the bridge, which right now, if we don't raise the road, the water will just back up, won't go over the bridge, but it will come over the road. You see what I'm saying?
But we opened the throat in the flow too, so.
But it's not gonna
Yeah.
make,
No, no, it's not.
it's still gonna back up, but at least now they can get in and out.
Well, the great news is if we ever get any improvement downstream, that bridge being in place will have more capacity to flow more water if we ever get that opened up in the
Right.
future. So it is gonna be an improvement. But
It went from 3 small box culverts to, wow.
well, a real bridge.
Yeah.
Basically what it is.
So.
It's a good project, and I think it's gonna bring us value for a long time.
Oh, absolutely.
We had the Mountain Patrol tractor pull this weekend, and we honored Wichita County Volunteer Fire Departments and raised some pretty good funds for them. Had a great crowd Friday and Saturday night. I mean, it was full Saturday night, and that was a good chance. They came and run the concession stands and parked cars, and were really actively involved in it. Those volunteer fire department guys are really a benefit to this community, and they worked hard, and they're gonna get some funding, so that helps. Coming up in November, and I'll tell you this so you can get your tickets, the Owl Park FFA alumni does their annual drawdown, and they sell 295 tickets, and the grand prize this year is a zero-turn mower, a steel blower and weed eater, and a trailer to haul it on. And it's a great opportunity because this one, you never want to own a mower that's too big for your wife to operate, and this one will fit the.
Does it have the cup holders?
It does have a cup holder, it does, so and I hope everybody knows I say that in jest, but anyway, it is a great fundraiser, and there are other prizes to go along. I think in the last 2 years, I've won a rifle and a big screen TV. Have not won the big prize, but there are other prizes that come along. The goal of it is to be the last guy in the hopper. They draw 300 tickets out of that hopper, and if you're the last one out, you win the grand prize. It's kind of a fun deal. Gets real interesting when you get down to about 20 left, because everybody's checking to see if they're still in. And we hold out 5, and we sell them at auction just before we draw the final 10. So, and they bring a very good price, because you're in, you're still in the big drawing. It's just a great fundraiser, and it's a lot of fun. But here's the good part. You get 2 Elks Lodge chicken fried steak dinners. That's worth $50.
Yes, it is.
And you're in the hopper for the prize, and it's just a fun deal, and we have a lot of fun drawing them out. We have some auction sales. Mickey T generally comes over and sells our tickets for us and some other things. So anyway, that's coming up in November. But main thing, see one of those members get your ticket and get ready. So a lot of neat things going on in the community, but a lot of activity. But anyway, that is a real fun deal for the sport in the FFA chapter.
We talk about the number of food events that go on here. Sometimes I wonder how we even made it as the 246th instead of out of the 247th most unhealthy counties in Texas.
We got some folks who cook around.
I know. We got some that can eat.
Eat our 4-H cookies.
Yeah, exactly. I just, but the health department does not think, what was their slogan? They came, Lufkin, Texas is worse, is their 247 or
We need to probably
248.
go down there on a field trip, see what it is there.
What they're
See
doing.
it is there.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if you hadn't had an Elks Club too, right, you missed out. Now, the Redneck Culinary Academy cooks a pretty good one, and a lot of people do.
We imitate the Elks. We
You got
do
it right.
just
You got
like,
the recipe.
just like they taught theirs. Judge, I forgot something.
Oh, no, well, your time's gone.
I need to tell them that I'm selling tickets to the Meals on Wheels annual fish fry, which is October the 19th. They're $10 a piece. And the Redneck Culinary Academy is going to provide the food, and every ticket that's sold will go straight to the Meals on Wheels program and not be spent on the actual fundraiser.
It's sponsored.
It's sponsored, yeah.
Well,
That's October
That's
19th.
just like a
October
chicken fried
19th.
steak at Elks Lodge. $10 for a plate of Redneck Culinary Academy fish is a bargain.
It is.
I don't care where you go. It's-
Well, now,
And it's all you
okay,
can
it's
eat.
12 now. Last Wednesday, they went up,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, well, that's fine. That's
Still-
fine.
it's still a bargain,
Still a
yeah.
bargain,
Yeah.
Still a bargain.
Yeah. One of the things, went to the Burke Burnett Volunteer Fire Department installation banquet. The wait a minute, what's the Burke Cooking Group?
Roustabouts.
Roustabouts. I knew Roughnecks wasn't quite it. Fantastic food. That was very good. Saw their officers. They had a assistant chief from the Metroplex speak. He did a great job. They recognized a number of the people in the leadership and all that. And then they started digging down and they talked about a guy that did all kinds of stuff for him named Lee Harvey. Yeah,
What, really?
they bragged on you. Not real long, but
Wow.
they certainly appreciate the things you do to help them and do things. And, you know, when they said we break something, we don't know where to get it fixed, Lee takes care of it and provides things for us, and I thought that was really nice, Commissioner, that brought that up.
I cooked that meal that y'all ate, but I was so tired. After we got it packed up, and I sent them on, I went and got
Well, now,
reclined.
your city commissioner's husband claimed he cooked that meal.
Well, Brian was there.
Yeah, okay, well, he,
Brian and me and R.D. Burdette,
Lee did it with his one good arm.
couple of retired PAs from the base were there. They did a lot of visiting, not a lot of cooking.
okay, well, that's part of the requirement.
Yeah.
And one other thing, Judge. while we're
Okay,
breaking.
Lee, go ahead, Lee.
We got, yeah, well, I understand, we got things to do.
Got miles to make.
Out there at the tractor pull on Saturday night, we always sell a little Calcutta in one class. So we line up 5 tractors and you auction them off to, and we put it in a pot. And half the pot goes to the organization, which this time was Volunteer Fire Departments. The other half goes to whoever wins buys the winning driver. It's kind of a neat deal. And I think it was like $2,200 or $2,400 in the pot, and we got 5 of them auctioned off. And Shamtex Manufacturing, Wichita Falls, bought it, won it, and donated their half back to the Volunteer Fire Department.
Oh, awesome.
I think that's pretty cool.
Kudos to
Yeah.
Chantex.
We've got good people in this community.
Yeah, no, it just amazes me how things come together to help out a lot of good causes and things too, all that. The other thing is, we're working on the census committee, complete count committee. We met for another hour and a half last week, and they've got a meeting this Thursday trying to pick out the tagline and some stuff like that to come up with it. There's about 30 to 50 people involved in it, so trying to work on that. The focus should be all the people that we don't normally get counted, and trying to make methods to have the inroads into get people to count, because we send our same dollars to Washington, and if we don't get enough count, their appropriations are based on census, and we're letting somebody else use the money we as taxpayers, individuals, send in, and it doesn't do us any good if we don't have that. That's what they do. The second thing, Ms. Bohannon, I had gotten 2 proposals on the redistricting, and I asked for one of those electronically to send them on to you and to get it back. The Allison Bass one is similar to what we had from them before, but we need to have a conversation, at least a couple, 3 of us, Bob Bass, and we kind of ran in at the last minute, and I hear your warning. That's why I'm working on it way ahead of time. But the other one we had talked about, we had to react to the city elections in November of 2020. We won't have any census count until April of 2021, so I think they had a typo. I'm going to call them about that. And they charge by the hour, so we don't know what that cost would be. And then the idea of trying to get a meeting together with all of the school districts, the cities, everybody to sit down and talk, and hopefully get everybody to use one firm so we avoid some of the problems. One of the other things mentioned to that gentleman was the dilemma of dealing with roads and precinct lines. 10 years ago, we said that didn't matter. I'm going to hope we're going to say that again, and you take care of the roads in whatever district you come up with, or you all have talked about just dividing the roads by
We
mileage.
work so well together, but Barry has roads that are in the city limits of Burke Burnett because of the way they drew it up. But we just take care of it.
Okay, he doesn't have roads in the city limits of Burke Burnett.
Well,
I just want to keep that, somebody listening.
okay, there's a line that's drawn through there that, okay, he stops and starts, but
Yeah, but we often work with them.
We often think that it is in the city limits because it's right there.
Yeah, well, yeah, we have a number of them that do
Got
that,
it.
but, yeah. But often we have worked with our cities when we're doing a project to work with them to get that all done. We've even worked
With our adjoining counties on there, Clay County has a road we used to work.
together on.
Clay
You know.
Road.
So, at any rate, the redistricting thing is gonna be coming about. If you have feelings about the road deal, you need to let me know, because that eliminates a significant cost factor of trying to put that into the mix. And I think what you said, Commissioner Harvey, right on. Y'all work well to get
To do
the
right.
roads taken care of, period. So, we'll continue with that, but that was one of the things both of those cited, and I think that's an exercise in.
Must want you to make sure that River Road goes back to precinct 1.
Well, he said he would take it back, now he's gonna spend all that
I
money
spent all the
on it.
money on it, 4.5 miles of asphalt.
Make a wish list going into this deal.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, there was a time when we were, every time, right, the 2 years before redistricting, one of the commissioners started, you could see his road plan all of a sudden changed to where he thought he might lose. So, at any rate, anything else? We didn't get you to word, we started at 9 o'clock, did we?
Okay, sir, I'll remember that.
Okay.
Just this time.
Okay,
You know, if you give us your email, we'll add
I
you
will get that to you after the meeting.
to that distribution list.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. Anything else? All right. Just so people know, we're dressed casual today because we're traveling from here to Galveston, and wearing a coat and tie that far gets a little old. So I sent out a text yesterday and said, let's come casual today. And
I said, them overall casual, he said, no.
no, that's way too casual.
North Shores.
You know, so, at any rate, we are adjourned at 9:48. And no court Friday.